Hello everybody, I would like today to have a candid conversation with you and my friends here, the GrandAcres owner and director, and also a friend of mine, but I'm going to tell you about it shortly. So to introduce myself, my name is Wacu Durango. I'm from Los Angeles, California, but right now we are at Goshen Acquisitions office. You know, I can see from the camera, you can tell, you know, it looks like it's not in LA. But yeah, we are from, you know, I came from Los Angeles to actually do my own or seal up my own part of due diligence, because I have done business with Goshen Acquisitions, and that has prompted conversations like we are just about to have today. And yes, this is gonna be great for the diaspora to listen to us and anybody else who want to purchase land. So yes, welcome and let's talk.
Awesome.
Yes.
Right, and my name is Josephine. Like you had, I'm a friend of Wacu from Los Angeles, California, and I've known Wacu for a long time, and she's a good one because she finds something good and she always lets me know.
Come
so
with
she
me.
kind of pinched me on this Goshen Acquisitions and the GrandAcres and buying land in Kenya, and told me about it. And it took a long time for me to believe her, but I do have a really good story that you're gonna get to hear about how I was able to buy land with them and my experience. And Wacu mostly talks about, you know, and you'll hear a lot about the due process and the due diligence that Goshen Acquisitions does in the land buying process. And I'm hoping I can speak a little bit maybe about the other part of it, the service part, the customer service part, you know, because it's great, you know, to do your due diligence and have all the documentation parts right and everything lining up correctly. That's very important. I mean, that's the reason why you're buying land, and you want to have those things in line. However, sometimes with companies, you find that the process of going through it is maybe not as pleasant. I mean, it's hard enough to buy land. It's hard enough to put your hard-earned money, especially as guys in diaspora.
Right.
You know how we struggle, huh? You know how we're doing those doubles. And then you bring all your money and this guy is just like stressed you out.
Yeah. That's true.
And they
I heard it, yes.
They stress you out, you
Yeah.
know? So when you find good people and you find an upstanding company and you find, you know, folks that make you laugh through the hard process, it's priceless. It's priceless. And I just, you know, I hope I'll have a chance to kind of share my story, and then you guys can see just how blessed as diaspora, and I'm gonna use the word blessed, as diaspora we are to have people like Goshen that have, you know, taken up that mantle and answered that vision to be like an answered prayer to some of us, you know, that have been looking for someone that can help us with that process of land buying from out there where there's no, you know, you're buying sight unseen. Some of those places, it's difficult, you know, and we all know that. And those guys just, you know, they take away the stress, the anxiety, the trepidation, and by default, the risk associated with buying something from so far out there. And they do it excellently, and they do it. They and their customer service is just, it's exceptional. And I love that I got to know this. I'm so grateful to Wacu. I've been telling her this whole trip. I'm like, girl, you got me. You know, you got me. And I am so grateful that I got to meet you guys and I work with you. And we've had a story, quite the story.
Yeah. And when you find something worthwhile, when you find something that you can actually identify with, not actually own it even, but also in the owning, identify with it. You would like to be many of you, okay? I must say, and this is not even out of pride, that there are many people that have learned the art of buying or even the investing back home in Kenya through some of us. Some people, it was just like, okay, so I can invest in Kenya. What do you mean? Oh, I can buy land in Kenya. I came to the US and I was not intending to come back home. But we have created such an environment where the diaspora is in a different phase. Okay, and this phase has opened our eyes in such a way that when you land in Nairobi, you're wondering, okay, so there's Twin Towers in Westlands, and I don't know when they were put up there, like who owns them. So the more we stay away, the more other people are coming and regaining and taking place or making ownership or taking ownership of a lot that we in the diaspora can do. So what I want to say at this point is you find something great, do your due diligence, get your people to come together with you. And yes, as we go ahead, you will learn about our story and and I got Jojo in and
I'm saying, to speak to your point, I've been away for a long time. I've been gone since 2001. So technically, my whole adult life, I've been in the US.
21 years.
Yes, 21 years. So I never lived here as an adult. So I just graduated high school. I did maybe a year of college and then left the country. And I have been there the whole time, just unaware of the development that happens here.
Life is happening,
and you start life there. You get married, you have kids, you live, you anchor yourself in the US, and you completely forget how home is. So at the time that Wacu and I met, Wacu is very involved with what happens here. I was completely just on the other side. I'm the kind that thought, well, I don't know about coming back. My kids are here in the US. All my investments are here in the US. My family, yes, is back here, but I've lost both my parents. So my roots here did not feel very firm. Like I needed to return. It was just like, what was I coming home to, and so I unfortunately, didn't have land here, and didn't have any investments here. But Wacu kept talking to me and telling me, and so the reason I'm saying this is because I know there's a lot of us that are in the same situation. We're married, to foreigners, which was in my case, married to foreigners, have children that are, are American citizens, British citizens, all diaspora people, and have raised kids not even knowing that this is an option for them. And so to come back home and see what is happening here and have my eyes being opened to just what a great opportunity it is to have a piece of land here is incredible. I have a little story. Like I came here last year and I brought my two boys. They're all grown now. One's 30 about and the other's 20. And remember my son that's 20 years old had been here before when he was 8 and 9. Didn't have the best of experience, didn't acclimate very well, was here for about a year, and then we went back to the US. And so when I told him we needed to come, it was at a time that he was having a very difficult situation in his life. He had lost his best friend. His best friend had been shot and killed just when they graduated high school, and so he was in a really dark place, very depressed. And so I told him that he needed I felt that he needed to come, to come and see something different and just break that cycle of where he was psychologically.
Yeah.
And it was difficult, and I had to have my older son who loves Africa to convince him to come. And they're both technically they are African Americans. That's a culture they've been born into.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is, even though they're part of they're Kenyan by blood, half Kenyan, but they're very much African American. And so to them it was coming to Kenya was visiting a foreign country. But I did not understand what the visit was going to do for them. I just knew that I needed to provide my son a different environment so he can heal. And so we came home, and I just have the best family. Just shout out to you guys. You're amazing, all of you. We're like 30 deep and we just love each other so much. And so my children experienced that for the first time. They experienced this total love of being in a place where, first of all, everybody looks like them, which is like, oh wow. And a place where they felt for the first time completely safe, completely loved, completely embraced, completely integrated as one of those people.
No strangers.
It wasn't a place where you are suspect just by virtue of your skin color. It was a place where everybody looks at you as a sovereign human being, and you are valuable just by reason of being. And my son, specifically my son, my 20-year-old said, Mom, this is the first time I don't feel like the N-word, and that just, it broke my heart, and I know there's many of you in diaspora that you have raised kids, especially African-American boys, and the struggle that these kids go through, and they struggle with sometimes acceptance and just fully growing into themselves without the pressure of proving themselves, And this coming home did that to my sons. And they absolutely loved it. This is a kid that went from like, Mom, I'm not going, to like, Mom, when am I coming back? Like, are we coming back in December? Yeah. And so when I told them about me beginning to buy land here, it's like they're interested. They're like, okay, let's buy land, let's get, now they're starting to plan on how they too can buy land here and settle in here, And I feel like there's no better option to give our kids than the choice of where they want to stay eventually, At this point, going to college, going to high school, blah, 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 they might think, this is what they know at Diaspora is all they know. But once you expose them to something different and they realize that they actually have that choice, it's unbelievable, I've been sending videos and stuff to my kids, and they're like, yes, I want some piece of Mombasa, and I want some piece of Malindi, and I want some piece of Nanyuki, and it's just, it's beautiful. It's beautiful,
absolutely.
It's beautiful. I love what you're doing with your company. I love that you have, like I mentioned earlier, that you have provided for us a way to do this, and a way that we can trust in, a way that we can depend on, and a way that we can know that our hard-earned money is being used rightfully, We have, Diaspora, we have dealt with unscrupulous people for years, and to come to a place where we have Goshen, and like Wacu say, just having everything matching, and knowing that we can be rest assured, knowing that you take away the stress, I just want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for that.
I appreciate you saying that.
Yes, yeah, and like I said, okay, so I have a little story. And I think
I'm so sorry. This conversation, I know we are having it with Goshen Acquisition, but it's our diaspora conversation. Like I said when we began, we want the land sellers to hear what they don't hear. They probably just sell land to us. Oh, you need land, they sell land to us. But there's much more deeper meaning for us, and the people buying land from diaspora than probably what they already know. Maybe they probably want to just make money. They probably,
Yeah.
But there's much more deeper into us buying land. Everybody has their own story, economically speaking. Also, there's a personal, there's a sentimental, there's what am I going to do in Kenya? And then you start and you're like, oh, Kenya is actually home, So I wanted to hammer to that point just a little more to say that when 2015, 2016, and I will be very honest, when we were trying to mobilize women to invest in Kenya, when we were trying to mobilize everybody, people were like, you are investing in Kenya? No, invest where you live, invest where your money is, invest where your kids are. Fast forward to today, some of those people are actually selling land themselves and selling stuff themselves and selling Kenya themselves. So yeah, this is a conversation, it's a conversation, or rather, this is an idea that has come full circle. The people that you did not even know, or they talked, they never even paid attention to it, or they told us off, actually, for trying to have women invest in Kenya, or have people invest in Kenya, speaking so positively about our country. Now they're the ones who are spearheading all the sales around. So, and then if not that, there's this other point of, we have stayed away. We are the owners of this land. And the actual foreigner, remember, this is an African American child born to a Kenyan mother, so has an actual heritage to this country. But now we are having the Chinese, the Lebanese, now everybody else coming to own Kenya. Why diaspora? Why?
Yeah.
Let's build the roads. Let's, come home. Let's do this. So, and now Goshen Acquisitions.
Wow, yeah. You guys have said so much. I don't even know where to start. First of all, I am Solomon Wangwe. I am the Chief Kazi ya Mkono. We call it here at Goshen Acquisitions. I'm the founder, CEO of Goshen Acquisitions and its wholly owned subsidiary, GrandAcres Limited. We are extremely passionate about owning Kenya, owning land in Kenya. So you just touched on a whole bunch of things that we feel very deeply about, and I'm happy to hear you express that, because sometimes people ask us, why are you in it? Is it for the money? Partially, yes. This is not a charitable exercise. It's a business that has to be sustainable.
Absolutely.
But fundamental to that, because money is a natural consequence of giving people value. That's what we believe. The primary goal is to settle people, to give Kenyans the opportunity to own their own country safely.
Yes.
Right?
That's important.
Legally and ethically. Those are things, those are separate things. You could do something legally that's unethical and vice versa. And we like to pay attention to all of them, because otherwise you're not doing right by yourself, you're not doing right by the people that you're serving. So we are very passionate about that. And I think I made a comment to you guys earlier this week that one of the most patriotic things you can do is own a piece of your own country.
Of your own.
Yeah, and we're sitting in this office building, which is partially considered to be in Westlands. Westlands, we've been priced out of our own market.
Out of our own land.
The Chinese, the Egyptians, the Ethiopians even. There's a bunch of developments along this Riverside Drive that are owned by Ethiopians and
Our
Eritreans.
neighbours, literally.
The developers next door. I mean, we are watching it happen live. That our own country is being valued and taken ownership of by foreigners, and we're not doing anything about it. And then one day in the future, we'll be complaining about why do they own this? Why do they came? We sold to them fair and square. This is not colonial days where they came with arms.
Yeah.
They made us an offer we couldn't refuse.
Yeah.
And by the time we start to value our own country, it may be too late. So these are some of the things that go into what we do, and I'm happy to be able to sit down with you guys and drill down into the why.
Yes.
And understand from you guys the why.
Yeah.
I have to confess, it's the first time I've had that perspective. We do have a few African American prospective buyers and so on. We're interacting with a really cool one right now. Shout out to Coffee. That's all. That's as far as I'll name him. Who has decided he wants to spend the rest of his days in the motherland.
Wow, that's
beautiful. It's actually happening.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's actually happening.
Yeah.
There was this. We were introduced to the year of return by President Nana of Ghana,
yes.
And I can tell you now, Ghana is robust. You walk to every street in Ghana, it's like African Americans owning, you know. Yeah, that's another sentimental part of it.
Yeah.
Like we welcome everybody, every
race.
Invest in Kenya, but however, want us, the African people. We are a people that have been displaced and unprivileged for so long, and majority of it not even our will.
Yeah.
You know, you find Africa in diaspora, you know, Jamaica is African diaspora, you know, all of those areas, those are African diaspora. And what Solomon is doing is welcome. We can help you own your motherland. We can help you have some heritage, have an affiliation with your heritage. And this is into a broader conversation. But coming back to Goshen.
Yes.
So
what would you like me to say? Because I could yap for weeks about that particular issue.
Yeah.
I should point out, as much as that perspective surprises me, in terms of you have raised children who are, you know, ethnically Kenyan, fully or partially, but they're American.
Yes.
Their culture is American, and your desire for them to have a connection with home and have them understand what home is like. I mean, that's a beautiful thing to share. And we had never considered that before. So that's a fresh perspective.
that is.
Even though I am a former diasporan myself, I went to school, became an illegal immigrant because I violated my visa, had to drop out of school, struggled like majority of us do to pay the bills, you know, pay rent and blah, blah, blah. I came back home 2009. Ended up starting the business in early 2012. So I've always been passionate about helping my friends, people in the diaspora, make that transition, even if not moving, to own, because a lot of us want to own for investment purposes, for passive income, for future succession, for land banking, all sorts of reasons.
I'm super passionate because unfortunately, I did not inherit any land, you know, and I do not want that for my children. I do not want for my children to say that they did not inherit land. You know, that's stopping with me, you know, and I feel like there's a lot of us that feel that way, you know, and this is the time, you know. I was the kind that would say, you know, like Wacu would tell me about all these opportunities and I'd say, no, I don't have money. But let me tell you, it doesn't get cheaper than it is today. Today is the cheapest it will ever be, you know. So I would encourage everyone, especially if you have children that you have raised outside of this country, you have, I believe, a responsibility to give them a choice to know what home is. They let them decide if they want to call that home or if they want to have a piece of where you came from, you know.
Right.
And so do it. Start small. You know, I like that Goshen provides, you know, payment plans, and they'll work with you, right?
We will, yeah.
To make your dream possible.
Yeah.
And in speaking to that, you know, I mean, it's very important what we're doing, what they do, but also I just wanted to mention that they are, you know, there's many companies that you can obviously buy from, you know.
Everyone is selling
land, and you know, there's people of, you know, that will sell you the poti baguta baguta. But this guys, let me tell you, this man right here, I think you just have a knack of selecting really, really, really good places, really good land.
We confirmed that.
Yeah,
we confirmed that.
The last week, we've been here the last week, and each day we have gone to different parts of Kenya, and we have seen what Goshen is offering. Correct. And I tell you, I'm sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, I need money because I want to buy every single thing that he has.
Yeah, become like me.
Because he does such due diligence. I mean, he does the footwork for months and months and months. And you find all these great places and you see the potential of them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want 10 acres here and I want 50 here and I want, you know, But what I'm saying is, don't feel like that you, if you want to, which you should, get some land.
Amen.
The reason, the reason you should use this, guys, because they're just more than a land buying acquisition.
Yeah.
Acquisition.
When you come to Kenya, you start speaking Kenyan.
I know. I have a little story, and I mean, I'm always having this little stories. I'm a storyteller.
I just wanted to say something, and I'm just so sorry to cut you short.
Oh yeah, absolutely, no problem.
There's this that Mr. Wangwe brought up, and I really would like to speak to it. So forgive me.
Oh, go for it.
So. Let's imagine that when Mr. Wangwe finally decided, okay, this is hard for me. America is hard for me. I need to go home. Nothing is adding up. All the maths are not mathing. I guess that's what they're talking about these days. You know, life is not happening for me. So let's assume with the little he made in the US, he had already acquired something in Kenya. I'm trying to make a point that you may be a foreigner elsewhere, but you will always be Kenyan. I mean, I'm glad how, you know, he came back and things worked out, and this is why we encourage people to invest, because when you're investing in Kenya, KRA PIN and the national ID card, that's the only thing you typically even need. And if it is leasehold, then you can even use your passport. That's why anybody can actually invest, like in Olkekun, we were having this conversation, African Americans.
Yeah, I'd like you to talk a little bit about that too. Like for our African American friends that would want to come and purchase land. Is this, you know, is it possible? How do they go about it? You know, because I'm sure there's some people that would probably be interested. Right. We have friends that might want to come to the motherland.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And there's technical issues you have to sort out in terms of the freehold, leasehold. But it's possible to do conversions. We've done that routinely. We're currently doing that for 2 customers for Imbuko. Foreign nationals converting from freehold to leasehold, but 100% yes.
I like what you said, like that, because I think we have experienced obviously racism in the US.
Absolutely.
And there's that statement that sometimes comes back out when they tell you, go back to where you came from.
Yes.
You know,
always.
And it's obviously a statement that's meant to degrade you in some sense, that this is not where you belong. But can you imagine if someone says that to you and you're like,
and where you come from,
and I will, because I got my place. I have a home. Like I have a place I can call home, and I can come home to.
Yes.
Yeah, I belong. I belong somewhere. Yeah. And thank you so much. Thank you. I wanted to mention too, just within this conversation of why I chose Goshen, and when Wacu did tell me about AcaciaCove a few years back, you know, and I bought AcaciaCove. I put in a deposit for AcaciaCove with Wacu, and then disclaimer: do not attempt this at home. Guess what I did? I actually rescinded my purchase, because at the time it was probably 2 years into the process, maybe a year and a half into the process. And I had found a different opportunity in Malindi that I wanted to invest in. And without thinking, without any thought, without any consideration, at the time, GrandAcres was, going througugh a little bit of
a little bit?
Oh, well, it was a lot of issues with getting the title deeds.
Yes.
And so you guys actually sent me an email. I think you sent to all the investors and said, hey, this is what we're going through. And you were updating us, very often, which is another great thing about this, guys. You will not put your money and then, 5 months later, you're wondering, wait, what happened? They're very good at updating you, keeping you informed, keeping you, the tabs, and just making sure you know what is going on and explaining all the delays and all that, which is very important, if you have your money put in somewhere. So anyway, one day I'm sitting in my room, I receive an email and you guys say, hey, this is what's going on, and we are happy to refund your money if you don't want to wait. And I'm like, oh yeah, I need my money. I can move my money here. So I send this email and I say, hey, you know what? I've thought about it and I'm probably gonna take my money back and see if I can put it in a different investment. But however, in my head at the time, I was like, this is Kenya. Jojo, there's no way you're getting me your money back. Like, where? How? I've been to Kenya before. Like, when I left and I came back, I come back every year. I just don't go, I just don't visit Kenya that much. Not as an investor. And not as an investor. Right. I come to chill with my family. But anyway, I've come. I know there's a time I came and I got into a store, a shop, and I bought shoes, right? And I was, my family was outside the store and I was showing them the shoe. I'm literally still standing inside the store, right? Okay. So I'm showing them the shoe I bought, and my son at the time said, didn't like the shoe. Like, what kind of shoe is that you bought? And they were making fun of me. And I said, okay, let me change my mind, let me return it. Mind you, I have not stepped outside.
Even left the store,
I haven't left it. So I go back to the cashier and I say, you know what, I've changed my mind. And they're like,
and you haven't even left.
I said, no, I'm returning it. Give me my money. I'll buy a different shoe. And they said, no, we don't do returns. And I'm like, no way. And they completely refused to take the shoe back. And so that's
the Kenya you knew.
Yeah, so that's the Kenya I knew. So when we're talking about returning the money for my land, I'm thinking either this is probably gonna take 2 years, you're gonna delay the process and tell me it's not possible and blah blah blah, or I'm never gonna see my money back. And I had to get to a point where I accepted the fact that I might not see my money back, and it was gonna be okay. For my own sake. For my own sake, I said, because I don't want to, have bitterness and my interaction with Goshen before had been good up until that point, and I didn't want to move on from there with, just not negative vibes of you guys, right? Yeah. So I decided, you know what, it's fine. It was sporadic, it's hour to, move on, right? So I sent an email to these guys and I get a response and they're like, thank you, Jojo, blah, 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 blah. And, just furnish us your account details and we will process your money and this and this. And, they asked me, is there anything we can do for you? Is there a reason? So cordial and so amicable and so pleasant and so friendly.
Money. Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what? And then so I was like, okay, let me send my account details and make sure first the money's in my account before I believe you guys, right? And so I sent my account details and literally within 24 hours, the money was in my account. I couldn't believe it. I'm like,
That's
they
so
just
sad.
did that.
That's really sad.
I was
to
like,
hear,
they
yeah.
just did that.
I mean,
Like,
what else
they
were you supposed to do?
I didn't expect that, you know, and that's what I want to tell you guys, you know, if anybody can sell you
real
land,
sellers out
but
here.
there's people, you know, kuna watu na viatu, you know, and
basi.
there's people, and there's people,
Basi.
you know, these are people, I mean, mockers is about Lobatines,
Yeah.
I mean, they're just such a company of integrity, you know, and they stand by their values and they honor their word, and you will not be disappointed. So anyway, kwanza, to top it off, sasa simesharudisha pesa, right? Kitu, I think it was just a few weeks after that. Oh no, it was about the same time, you know, within a week, right? So I sent Solomon a text. I'm like, you know, thank you, I got my money back. I'm actually in Kenya. He didn't know I was in Kenya at the time. I said, I'm actually in Kenya. He invites me for tea, coffee. He's like, come to our office. We love our customers. You know, come have tea with us. We'd love to get to know you. You know, see our offices. And I'm like,
They don't ban bridges.
I just did a return. Like, who does
Just do
this?
it cordial.
Like, who does
Don't
this?
burn bridges.
I'm like crying.
Let's learn from this.
I'm
Yeah.
literally like crying. I'm like, who does this? Who is as friendly? Like it didn't change him. It didn't change who you guys were. You
But
know,
it changed
it's like
you.
me as a customer, I was important to you, whether I bought or didn't
Or you
buy,
didn't.
whether I
Absolutely,
bought
yeah.
or I returned.
Very important.
You know,
I like
and
that.
it's just that touch, you know, that personal touch, that value that you put on people, not because they're giving you money, not
Right.
because they're giving you business, but because they're people and relationships are important. And
that.
you have proved that to me over and over. And that's why I'm here. You know, that's why I'm here,
so
because
grateful to hear
that
that,
is
yeah.
so important for people. You know, customer service, relationship-based services is so important.
Yeah.
And you guys have really taken it upon yourselves, you know, and I mean, I'm not going anywhere. I'm Goshen family
then-
forever.
Awesome.
You know, I'm sold, not just like. And you know what?
Yeah.
The best part about this is because of that. Guess
came
what,
back.
people? I came back, and I got not just my Nanyuki land that I had returned.
And it wasn't so difficult to tell her, hey,
I did
can
not
we go
need
see Goshen
any
properties even if you don't own,
I
you know,
didn't-
even if you returned the AcaciaCove,
I
can
know.
we just go see Goshen, you know? And she was like, yeah, let's go. It's Goshen,
Yeah.
let's go.
I said, yeah,
You know?
when
Yeah.
Washo, when I came with Washo, I should say, let's go, you know, Goshen. I was like, I've always wanted to meet you, Solomon. You know, I was
Yeah.
excited. Were you surprised when I like came back? I was like, come on,
Yeah, I was, yes. Well, yeah, you said hello like
Yeah.
we knew each other
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we're seeing each other
yeah,
again.
and
And yet we'd never met.
we'd never met.
I mean,
and
that's-
I just, your
Yeah.
vibe, I just loved it, you know, and I was so excited, and I was like, oh, so nice to meet you. And you haven't noticed yet, I'm a bit animated, forgive me. This is just me, this is just Jojo, of all the place. So anyway,
We come back.
yeah, so because of that, because of what happened, I was more than, first of all, I was really disappointed in myself that I actually made that decision to give back my land. But I said, you know what, we get, and you were talking about second chances, and I said, I'm grateful for a second chance to be able to buy my land back, you know, and I was able to get my land back. I
Whatever
saw
the
it. I saw the
consequences.
one, and I mean, just as God would have it, that was still available, and the one that
Yeah, but-
that's a miracle in
Everything
itself.
got
And everything
around
was
it,
bought around
except
it
that
except that
piece.
one. So that's God. That's a miracle right there.
That
I
was
don't know
your
how.
sign, huh?
That was my sign.
Yeah.
That was my sign. I
Awesome.
stood on that land and I knew this is mine, and it was my sign. And I was able to purchase it back. But not only that, we saw other properties, and God help me.
When you go back to the US,
because-
don't call her. Don't call
For
her.
Chapakazi.
She's gonna be
Chapa,
busy.
maybe by then, my dabba from here to next year, because nimenunua mashamba.
I love that.
That's awesome.
And what is interesting about this conversation, or what's so settling about this conversation, is the fact that there's every kind of land seller, especially today. You know, there are all kinds of people selling land. But what exactly is the process? What are they giving you? Are they giving you service? Are they giving you the process? Are they giving you, Goshen has given us that, I will stand by you, kind of, and you suffer, we suffer, we are together. It's not like nilikuzia shamba, go figure.
Yes, that's the
even
other part too. You guys the relationship doesn't end with the sale of the land.
Yes.
No, it's the beginning of the relationship.
It really
It's only the
is.
beginning,
It really is.
Yeah.
Hence why we started our Greater Gains community, Goshen Acquisitions Greater Gains community, comprised of all of our customers with whom we continue interacting and finding valuable ways to enrich their ownership experience after the fact.
Yes.
Because that's the way it's supposed to be. We truly believe that.
Right.
And I also have to confess, a lot of our views and our processes, our interaction, our customer journey design, all that has been informed by my time in the States, where customer service is the culture.
Yeah.
And we sort of take it for granted, and we're grateful that we could bring that from our past and experience and infuse that into the Kenyan business environment. So that's really encouraging to hear, but we can't take credit. We didn't invent it. And the truth is, that's the way it ought to be.
Yeah,
we're
that's
simply
the way
doing.
It should be like that.
Simply
You can't
doing what
force
we're
people how
supposed
to run
Right.
their businesses.
True.
It's if you're lucky to find Goshen, if you're not,
this is a start.
Yeah,
I think you're setting an example, and you're setting a
hope so,
precedent
yeah.
for other people to see that it's possible. It's possible to, be a company of integrity here in Kenya.
Yes, it is possible
to hold everyone around you at, a higher standard.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, everybody benefits. You benefit,
and the
the
most
customer benefits. Like it's beautiful. I love what you're doing. We love what you're doing.
Right.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you.
what I have figured, even after going through a lot of hurdles with the AcaciaCove, I mean, that was draining. That was so draining. And even after that, I mean, customers still come to him. I mean, if we can look, not because, I'm asking, but I believe because I have bought something in the process, even after that, your own customer will still identify with you, no matter what. They will still identify with your service. They will still identify with, like, us guys are returning customers. And even if I speak to somebody out there, I'm gonna go like, okay, I have Goshen, you know what I'm saying? So your customers will still come.
Yeah,
so don't change, please. Don't change the way you handle customers. Don't change the way you, all these processes that we are describing, the way you have umetutumikia, kama muuzaji, because we don't have. It's like us going to a supermarket and the supermarket person, especially here in Kenya, is like, you're the one buying, so hey, whatever.
Right.
But don't continue with the same integrity. And speaking of you getting back your land, there's something there that I would like Solomon to speak about. How are you able to return that money to Jojo, and why was it so easy to, like, hey, in 24 hours pesa zako ndo easy?
Right. Well, that's a great question. It's one of the things. It's step number 8 in our 9 steps to safe land buying in Kenya. Step number 8. And in case you haven't seen or heard about that, please go to our website, get the free download, send us an email. There's a link at the bottom of this video, and get yourself. It's free. We don't charge for it. Just, even if you're not gonna buy from us, at least invest safely, and that checklist will help you do that.
I remember.
And step number 8 is escrow account. We often, and this is one of those things that's counterintuitive. As a land seller, obviously we want to get paid and want to get paid quickly. you know, a quick sale is good. It's a good thing for a business. Cash flow is king.
Yeah.
Cash flow keeps the business alive, pays for the lights, pays for the staff, and keeps us going. But if the intent is to truly serve the customer and the buyer, then we have to put our needs secondary to our customers. And that's the definition of business, if you ask me, is to serve your fellow human being, you know, receive or acquire whatever it is they need. And so we always advise people, if you're going to buy land, especially if you're an early bird buyer, if you're buying off plan or, you know, pre-buying before titles are out, most especially in that situation, never pay the landowner directly, ever. Have your funds go into an escrow account owned and managed by a licensed advocate of the High Court of Kenya. So your lawyer who's handling the transaction on your behalf and the seller's lawyer will agree in whose account the money will be held for safekeeping as a third party. Have the money sit there until all the conditions promised to you by the seller are met.
So I have my lawyer.
Yeah.
You have your lawyer as the seller.
Yes.
They come together, draft an agreement. It's called what?
So as a seller, it's always preferential for me, if I can't receive the money directly into my business's account, that it goes into my lawyer's escrow client account.
And that's why it was very easy for you.
Absolutely, because all your funds went into escrow.
So it's just sitting there waiting.
Yes, we were still going through the subdivision process. The title deeds were not out. The reason it took 2 years, because I'm sure listeners are wondering, is because we had a situation in this particular county where a corrupt official demanded for a bribe to issue permissions. Even though we were fully compliant, we said no, because we don't do business that way, we don't live our lives that way. The issue of ethical business practices. And so we were forced to sue the county and go to court. And that takes long. And so before we knew it, 2 years had gone by, which is why we updated and told you, listen, this is what's going on. If you're not willing to wait any further because we have overshot the sale agreements period, by no fault of our own really, we're happy to refund you, because the whole time your money was sitting in an escrow account. And the lawyer that receives the escrow account is supposed to issue a professional undertaking.
Professional undertaking.
That's the word, yes.
That is the word.
It's a promissory note or letter that the advocate licensed, make sure they're licensed, otherwise it's meaningless.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And they have to renew their license every year.
Okay.
That they have written a letter saying we have received funds from Jojo for this transaction with GrandAcres. We will not release these funds to GrandAcres directly unless the conditions of the sale agreement are met and Jojo gives formal consent to release
the funds.
Right.
Yeah.
And so for that reason, your funds were available for a speedy refund without issue or drama, as opposed to you having paid us directly. And there's no guarantee it's going to be there when you call it back, because
you may have used it for subdivision
or something,
or buy another land,
or to hire staff, or expand the office space,
exactly.
or go on vacation, whatever. You want to protect yourself, and these are some of the structural mitigations you can take as an investor in the diaspora, especially if you're buying sight unseen. You're not here to have a touch point with the seller. Make use of the structures already in place. Do not compromise. You will thank yourself later, because you have a contractual right to rescind, even right up to the very end. And if that happens, you need to be able to collect on your funds without further delay or inconvenience. And that's why it was possible.
Yeah, so we have two things here. Yeah, we have two things here. We have somebody that rescinded the funds, who is Jojo. You know, she got her money within 24 hours. The money was in escrow, safely sitting there. And again, the escrow account does not belong to either parties.
No, the escrow does not belong to
invest in
GrandAcres.
that money, you know.
It's the advocates, which is why you have to make sure they are a licensed advocate. And the reason they issue a professional undertaking is because if they violate or breach trust by moving the funds anywhere without your permission, then they could be criminally prosecuted for fraud, and they also get disbarred. You could pursue disciplinary action with the Law Society of Kenya, and they get disbarred and lose their right to practice anymore. So it's a serious thing. Most lawyers will not do that lightly, and even when they do, it allows you the option to hold them to account. Now, it's not a foolproof. Lawyers misbehave all the time. They'll play musical chairs with the funds. But the point is, if they do, you're able, there's recourse. You can take action as opposed to being nilipoteza, wacha iende.
There is a professional undertaking standing to protect the buyer, both the buyer and the seller. So the point to note here being that that money should not be invested. You can take your time and watch the other video I have done after going through the whole process. Jojo lost hope, but she's gonna update you soon, very soon on this video. So I went through the entire process, and I'm one of those people that, patiently stayed and eventually got my title deed, and we have a separate video on that. So when it got to that point where, they met, Goshen Acquisitions as the vendor, met all the requirements that I needed them to meet. Subdivisions, title deeds are out, the updated land registry map, the mutation forms, all of that was met. And once it was met, they informed us. Again, like Jojo said, they are very good at keeping you up to date with everything. So, and again, it's speaking into the relationship that Goshen has with their customers. They call it burning bridges, but again, here is just a good customer and seller,
relationship.
Is it
business
relationship? That relationship is quite unique. That
the good faith, good faith interaction.
Yeah.
It's very important for us. I will tell you that there's less than 3 or 4 incidences in the past over the last 10, 11 years that we've been in business, where we felt that the good faith was no longer there between ourselves and the other party. And we're always very proactive. We say, we're sorry. It does not seem like we are the right partner for you to purchase land with.
And I like that.
We are not willing to continue. Please take your money back, and we'll find another customer.
I like that.
So in as far as there's mutual good faith and goodwill, we will never burn bridges. There are instances where you have to separate yourself, but even then it must be done with respect and professionalism.
Absolutely.
And we are grateful for the opportunity that you both have given us to do that. It's our passion. It's a privilege. Like we've said, you guys could have bought from anyone, but you chose to trust us. And we're so grateful for the opportunity to honor that trust. And we continue to pray that you'll continue trusting us.
Oh yes, absolutely. We are eyeing. Remember, we were asking, so what are you getting next?
Yes,
so
we're
what are
always
you
working
doing
on
next?
something.
As long as natoka hapa na Goshen t-shirt, kofia. That's all I need.
The jackets. You remember what happened? What happened yesterday? The day before yesterday when we went to see my AcaciaCove. So I am sitting on my land, and I have this connection with my land, and it's so sentimental to me. The AcaciaCove plot, and Solomon makes phone calls to his people, and because we were like with Jojo when she saw me, and the sentiment, and she was like, is the land available? So he had to make a couple phone calls.
Yeah, had to
and
confirm,
when he said that the land was available, so we went there. We did not even know that is it available in that somebody has booked it and he can sell it to just anybody. Speaking into the customer care and the personal touch, and so we went and we were trampling on the land, and she went and she stood on it, and she's like, this is my land. Okay, so how much are you selling? She's like, had that connection even before she could even say, I want the land back, can you sell it to me? And she was ready to meet all the consequences.
This is why we always, as much as possible, we encourage people to do site visits.
Yeah.
Because nothing can replace that physical
something
interaction
about that.
Yes,
you step on that land.
with the land. You know, it's an energy, it's a feeling, it's a vibe.
Yeah.
It's not anything we can capture in a sale agreement.
No.
Yeah. Yes.
You know,
That's
there's
well
no,
put.
there's no substitute for that.
Right.
Which is why we're always keen to ensure that we facilitate every customer site visit.
Yes.
So that even if you do choose not to proceed, it was well informed. It was a well informed decision.
Yeah.
And that is the only no or rejection that we are happy to live with.
Yeah, okay.
So actually,
so that,
you know, I just want to thank Goshen for actually this opportunity of overtaking. We actually overtook the office, overtook the conversations. Please forgive us. You know.
You're most welcome.
Because we wanted you to hear from the other side. We wanted you to hear from us. You know, you've just been selling land to us, but what is it like to us?
Yeah.
What is it like?
Yeah.
And we thank you for that.
Yeah. What is it? Yeah. So sorry for taking taking over the conversation and you know, and I hope it will be helpful. I hope that God blesses you into the future and bring all those products. You know, we went to Olkeku walking across the Safari Center, and I'm like, what? Can you bring the paper? Can we sign this? Can we? Okay, what do you have available? What you know what I'm saying? And keep doing that, because even like I said, the choice that you make, not just from the diaspora, but also the choice that you make for your customers in your products.
Yes.
It's so uniquely set and uniquely thought of, such that it's like, oh, okay, I'm getting this.
He's done the job. Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you and your staff and everybody. And you know,
Thank you.
It's been wonderful. It's been a wonderful 5 days I was spent with you, 4 or 5 days.
This is day number 4.
Day number 4. Yes. Oh my gosh. So and
we are grateful.
Every part of it has just been a blast. First of all, a blessing. A really, really, really good experience. I think I mentioned yesterday the Jojo that came 7-10 days ago is a very different Jojo that's gone back, and it's just
awesome.
It tears me up, to think about it. My eyes have been opened. I've had just such a good life-changing experience, and I know that can sound like a cliche, but my diary is filled with notes. There's just so much I have that has happened, some transformations in my life. And you have played a huge part in that. And I know our relationship, you know, it's I've been saying, come join the Goshen family, because it's just it's the place to be. And you know, if you need any more confidence in Goshen, this guy, he's like African land encyclopedia, Wikipedia.
Oh yeah, he was like, this is owned by this person, this is plot number, you know, from the colonial. I mean, it's about knowing your art, knowing your job.
We know
our stuff, man.
You know your stuff.
I mean,
we better.
Yeah, you know
you're driving
exactly.
Nanyuki, and he literally knows the entire stretch with the names and.
So thank you so much. Thank you for having us. Thank you for the site visits. Thank you for the everything. You know, for having us, for teaching us, for showing us. What you do, exposing us to you know, just the transparency. You know, we've met your staff, we've interacted with your staff independently. You know, and the people that surround you speak a lot of who you are, and we love that. You know, it's given me particularly just so much confidence in investing through you and through your company. And I would, you know, you guys, you've seen it for yourself. We've done the homework for you. Mkichelewa basi, mwanatakuwa si wako.
Join the Goshen family. I mean, you can buy from elsewhere. We're just speaking of what, you know, our experience has been.
God bless you guys. Thank you.
Yeah. So with this excitement of buying land from Goshen and being here and seeing all the sites, all Kekun, we went to
Like Elementaita.
yeah, Elementaita. We went to
AcaciaCove,
AcaciaCove, Imbuko. There's another one. All
Yes,
already.
we went to the 4 sites.
Yeah. So what's in store for us so that we can come with the early bird?
In 2023.
Yeah, I mean,
2023
we're always working on something. We always have something cooking in the kitchen, but we don't like to talk about it until, at the very least, we own it, because we only sell what we own. And for 2023, we're super excited because of our Diaspora tour.
Wow.
So watch out for schedules on. Hopefully we're coming to your city or a city near you, where you can take a little time to come
like
meet
this
us,
conversation.
have a chat,
good.
take a look at what we're offering, and see if we can help you own land in Kenya.
That's beautiful. I'm excited for 2023.
So cool.
Awesome.
Thank you.